SoulSpeak Living in Color, where we talk about inspirations, following your dreams, and what lights your fire. I'm your host, Sam Philyaw, Rainbow and Thunder voiceover. You can find me at samphilyawvo.com. Hello, and welcome back to SoulSpeak Living in Color. Today's guest is Chris Ferguson, and he is a musician turned voice actor, and he's here to talk about that crazy story. He's also going to be talking about his other hobbies like D&D, role-playing, tabletop streaming, stuff like that. And you'll get to hear him talk about his experience, his dream role, his role models, and all of that good stuff as we've been talking about for the last several episodes. So he does a variety of voiceover, so like, character work, animation. He does video games, promos, commercials, all that good stuff. And he has some fantastic demos on his website. Feel free to check out the demos and the any recent work that he has on there. It's chrisfergusonvo.com. I'll have that link in the written portion of the blog, as well as his social media handle. So you can go on there and follow him, show him some support. We always got to show people some love. And he also posts updates on his streaming on his Instagram. So be sure to follow him there to get any updates for that. And without further ado, thank you for joining us, Chris. It's nice to see you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for having me. So excited to be here and be doing this.
Yes. And like we were just talking about before we started recording, this is like the only social time that I get anymore.
Yes, that's the life that we are living in now.
I use it as an excuse to have conversations, fun ones too. So it's all good. So tell us about your journey in voiceover so far. Like, how did you find it? Why did you start?
It started for me, at least the interest in voice acting was around like 2016 when I was working with a friend that introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons. And ADHD is going to make this story like really awkward. I'm going to go all over the place, but
I'm sure a lot of us have that, so it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was trying to get him to play this game that called Neverwinter, and he's like, "Do you know that's Dungeons and Dragons?" I was like, "What's Dungeons and Dragons?" He's like, "It's where you role play and roll dice and do math and do all this stuff and act your characters out." I was like, "That sounds like some nerdy shit, man. I'm not interested." And then he's like, "Well, check out Matt Mercer in this show called before it was Critical Role, it was Force Gray, I think it was called." And so I hopped on the YouTubes and watched it, and I was just blown away. It was like Ashley Johnson, Matthew Mercer, Chris, I can't even remember his name, but there was a bunch of celebrities, and I was just like, I know all those people. They're nerds. Like, what is this? And kept watching it, and then they were like, YouTube suggestions, like, hey, you want to see more of Matt Mercer? Watch this Critical Role thing. I'm like, oh, what is Critical Role? And I think they were in like their first campaign back in 2016, like around episode 20 or something. And I jumped in, started watching, and I was addicted right off the bat, and found out that they're all voice actors, or as to quote Matt Mercer, nerdy ass voice actors that sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. That's
about a good 90% of us.
Yeah, you're right. So accurate. And yeah, I went and met Matt and Marisha at what is it called, MagFest in DC in 2017, and then I just started trying to go to like as many conventions as I could, that I found like all these interesting voice actors that I never even knew existed. Because like you're watching cartoons as a kid, you think that's them, and video games and stuff, you don't really think like these people are doing this for a living. And I think it was 2018 or 2019, I ran into Wes Johnson and we started talking, and then he was at one of these video game voiceover panels, and they they called me up and I got to read in front of them. And then Wes came down off the stage and like got in my face and was like messing around with me, trying to like get me to get out of my skin and all this stuff. And then afterwards they were meeting with people and signing autographs and stuff. And I was talking to him and some of the other panelists, and they were like, hey, you were like one of the best ones on there. Like, do you do this? I was like, no, but I really want to. They're like, you should get training. You should do this. Like, you were really good. Like, you have what it takes. You definitely seem like, I don't know, you have the passion, and you were able to read well, and you're acting. Like, do you act? Like, did you do any of that? I was like, no. Like, what'd you do? I was like, I'm a musician, you know. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I mean, that's about right, in front of the mic and all that stuff. And um what was it, we got home and I immediately just started reaching out to people. One of the guys, funny story, I when I get nervous I do accents, just because it's not my voice, so I feel like, well, you can't screw up if it's not your voice. And I was doing this like real thick Scottish accent, and then soon as I was done, the next guy they happen to know, and he's from Scotland. And I was so red in the face, and as he's coming up, he pats me on the shoulder. He's like, "It's all right." He's like, my friends are actually asking if you were with me. And anyway, so yeah, I reached out to him, and then he got me in touch with Jamie Muffett, and then Jamie Muffett told me to look into voice acting coaching. And so I just started the search from there, found Terry Daniels, or Terry Daniel. It's always Terry Daniel. I always put an S in there. Anyway, joined his program online, and 6 to 9 months later, and a whole bunch of money later, folks, um, walked out with my commercial demo and then my character demo, and then built my website and jumped on Voice 123 and Bidalgo, and that was kind of like, that was my journey.
That's awesome. So you really just went for it over the course of a couple of years. Didn't even realize you'd be interested in character work like that, huh?
No, not at all. Yeah, like it was within less than a year I was booking off of Voice 123, just here and there, little things for like 100, 200, 300 bucks or something like that. But it was cool. It was my own little journey.
Is there something recent that you've done that you're pretty proud of?
Yeah, I this one's funny because I didn't even know I was in it, and I did this character named Drox, I think, in this video game called oh god, it's a cyberpunk game on Steam. I can't think of it for the life of me, but over the summer I was watching this video of this guy play this game, and I was like, hey, those characters look familiar. And then I went back and dug into some of the scripts that I was sent to audition for, and I was like, hey, those are the characters I read for. It's like, wait a minute.
They used your audition and didn't even tell you?
Oh, no. Like, I got the part, but I was just
Okay.
digging through the pictures of when I did the auditions that I had on a file. And I found out the game had been out for like a year, and that I was part of the expansion. I was one of the characters in it. And so I reached out to the developer, and he sent me a Steam key, and then I just started binge playing it till I found my character, and I was like, yay, that's me. So Drox, that's it, Drox.
Nice. Awesome. So I know you said that you were a musician, so let's talk about this for a minute. You had a previous dream. I think you told me it was for 10 years, right? That you chased
Yeah.
your dream of being a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you decide to switch directions?
It was kind of forced on me because I was the last band that I was in was called Flight Case Syndrome, and the we were playing and headlining shows and playing all over the place on the East Coast and stuff like that, and opening for like all kinds of bands like All That Remains, Taproot, and Non-Point, and just all kinds of bands that you listen to like on the major like rock
Super
stations.
jealous.
Yeah, it was like super cool, like totally living the rock star dream, hanging out with the bands and like drinking, doing the after party stuff. And um our band, I guess it was because like, you know, we were all in our 30s, and the that whole like reality of adulting hit, and you know, shows were getting harder to attend to, I guess, or whatever. um and we were like, well, let's take like a 6-month hiatus. And so we did that, which crushed us like in a super negative way. And when we came back to the stage and started playing again, we were maybe pulling like half the crowd that we used to, and we were like, whoops.
Oh
um
man.
yeah, so then there was an internal fight with the band, and then we ended up breaking up. um and then what was it, I tried my whole solo acoustic rock thing for a couple years and did that. And then that whole, what is it, you can't blame a band when you're up there on stage by yourself for any mistakes. So I guess the stage fright and stuff like that started eating at me, and then I hung it up. And after that, it was probably a few years till I jumped into the whole voice acting thing.
Had you found voiceover um, while you were in that transitional phase of getting out of music?
No, no. A deep dark part of me that I have buried away became like a real hardcore alcoholic.
Mm.
And it was I guess the whole thing of like having this big huge social life, and being out on weeknights and weekends playing shows all the time, and then knowing like thousands of people and having all these big contacts, and being on the verge of getting signed and having albums out and stuff, and like that whole big dream just fell apart. And then I just became like this hermit, and just was drinking by myself, and just being a grumpy old man. and eventually I just got sick and tired of, it's like they say, sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I just quit cold turkey. And I think that was 2019, January 5th, 2019. It was the weekend we were at Magfest when I met Wes Johnson. And that was when I decided, like, yeah, I'm done drinking, and I am getting into this voice acting thing. Because I think it was like 2015, 2016-ish is when the band fell apart, and 2016 is when I found out about the whole Critical Role thing and was obsessed with the nerdy ass voice actors playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, that's awesome. So you went from a dark place, chasing a fantastic dream, something you really wanted to do, and then realizing that eventually, this is not working out like I'd hoped.
Yeah.
And then going to rock bottom, and then picking yourself back up because you're just like, you know what? I'm fucking tired of doing this to myself. And you picked yourself up, and now look at you. You're doing great.
Yeah, we can drop F-bombs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be swearing like a sailor or anything, but I'm not gonna lie, I do swear a lot.
Yeah, oh no, I do too. I was trying to behave myself because I didn't know like if it was cool or not. But yeah, I was fucking tired of it.
This is not for kids. It's more PG-13, just saying.
PSA.
Well, I mean, that's pretty cool. You go through stages in life, I think. And I mean, I've been in so many different industries, even if for a short amount of time, that it was hard for me to really focus on one thing because there's just so many things that I want to do. I have so many ideas in my head.
Yeah.
that I keep bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
But voice acting was the thing that really clicked with me. Like singing is something I've always wanted to do ever since I was a young child.
Mm-hmm.
And like you, I never realized that voice acting was a real thing. You know, I just watched cartoons and I was like, oh, that's their voice. Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And then about the same time frame, about 2016, 2017 is when I got into it and realized that it's a whole career and jumped headfirst into it. So I think that's pretty neat that you came up from a dark place in your life and you're pursuing what you want to really do. And you're great at it. Like I've listened to your demos. Oh my gosh, I love your character demo.
Thank you. and throwing it back at you, I watch your videos all the time on Instagram of you singing and stuff, and your voice is so amazing. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's talk about some dream roles. What would be the one, either character or commercial or whatever role that would just be the ultimate, yes, I've made it for you?
Oh man. Okay, so put me on any AAA title of a video game that my nerdy friends can play and yell at my character and stuff. Like, I want to be a villain so bad because I really like being dark and low voice. But like I'm sure you probably know the name Jodie Krangle.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's one of our players in our well, now she's in 2 of our campaigns. And her and I worked together on the video intro of one of our campaigns, and like we play these 2 deities where like I'm the evil one and she's the good one, and we're basically like gambling on the campaign and the players. And I'm like, so these players of yours, you feel like they are going to be the one to save the world? Just like fun shit like that. And I just started playing the new Halo Infinite, and like the main antagonist is just this deep deep baritone voice, and I was just like, I want to be the bad guy that everybody either hates or loves because he's so evil or something. I can't really put the tail on the donkey on what like anything specific, but man, like to do some AAA titles in some like fantasy role play games, or I mean, anime would be amazing to get my foot in the door there. Oh god, oh yeah. And then to Patrick, what's his last name? Patrick Warburton. Yeah. Mr. Joe Swanson for Family Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely want to be him. That'd be pretty great.
That's a great impression.
Thanks. That's like my go-to when I'm bored. But yeah, those dream roles would like to be on something like similar to Family Guy and stuff like animes and video games. So nothing specific, I guess, because my head's all over the place like yours. Like, I get into one thing and then I get into another, and then I want to do this and I want to do that. Like jack
I
of
think
all
that's
trades, master of none.
right. That's the great thing about voiceover for me, is that it's so much variety.
Mm-hmm.
Like every day is different auditions, different styles, tones, characters. And it's like, I never get bored with it. And that's been my problem, is that for a lot of things, I either get bored of it or I get really deep into it and then realize that it's just not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been really great. And you're going to have things that you don't like with everything that you do, any career, any hobby.
Yeah.
But
medical narration.
I actually enjoy medical narration because I like the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I like having to try to figure out what these words mean with how they're pronounced and stuff.
Yeah, oof.
Can you say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious really, really fast 10 times?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious 10 times. Wait, no, I failed. See, this is why I don't do narration.
Oh man. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
my kryptonite.
performing behind the mic is the best thing ever if you haven't tried it.
This is true. This is true.
So talk to me about your streaming. I know we've talked a little bit about D&D, you guys playing it. You run I think it's the campaign is what it's called, called L.O.R.E, right?
Yeah, L.O.R E. It stands for League of Rolling Expeditioners. I don't even think expeditioners is really a word because I always get auto-corrected on the computer when I type it in.
You created it. It's
But
okay.
we made it up. Yeah.
So talk to me about that. What do you guys, how do you do it?
So a couple years ago, a friend of mine, name dropping Kyle Bruddigan, I hope he listens so he can be like, yeah, he brought my name up. He and we were the two nerds that got started in the home campaign with my friend that was all like, hey, do you know you're playing Dungeons and Dragons on a video game? And so he got into this stream and they had like 1,000 some followers and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, they're creating a second campaign to have on a different night and they're doing auditions. You should try out. And this was before I took the dive into voice acting, but when I knew that's what I wanted to do. And so I auditioned and you had to do this it was like 5 minute, basically like a talent show for all the people that were auditioning, and I just took like all the voices that I could do and just made this like running for president kind of campaign thing with all the different voices. And yeah, anyway, I got in, and then the guy was like a total douchebag, and we kept butting heads, and he was trying to expand the thing, and I was basically just kind of there learning what he was doing. And it was one of those things where I had all these really great ideas that I was trying to help him grow and do different things, and he kept shooting me down left and right. And he's like, dude, stop trying to tell me what to do. Why don't you just go out and you do your own thing? And I'm like, fine, I will. I'll do it, and I'll do it better.
I live out of spite.
That's right. And yeah, so like, let's see, almost a year and a half ago, I reached out to some friends and we started playing on the stream that I had. And we were playing something else. It was like it's called basic role play, Chaosium, which is like a completely different dice system, and it's way easier than D&D. And we started playing that, started streaming it because it was like this sci-fi comedy kind of like campaign. And that eventually fell apart because our DM or dungeon master is over in the Netherlands. And so yeah, timing was just really, really difficult with all of us spread across the world. And so that fell apart. And then I was like, well, I'm not giving up. I really enjoyed doing this. So I bought one of those books on dndbeyond.com. Shout out to D&D Beyond. And it's the beginner campaign. It's called Lost Minds of Fandelver. And I was like, I want to DM. I don't know how, and I'll figure it out. So we actually, to backtrack a little bit, we had another campaign lined up, and the night of, like, or the morning of that we were supposed to stream, our DM's like, yeah, man, I guess it's like cold feet or something. I don't know, but I'm too busy in life. I can't do this. I'm like, bro, like, we stream in an hour. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, we have players. He's like, I don't know, I'm sorry. And then just like that was it. So I reached out to my players. I'm like, we're just gonna improv. I'm the DM now. Hi, and roll for initiative. I don't know. And we just started streaming. Things worked out. Um, and God, it's been quite a journey since then. We've had so many people come and go because of, adulting and life just happens, and people having to like come in temporarily or whatever, and then they can't stick around, or like players not getting along with each other. So I just kept pushing through. Every time we'd have to lose a player, we'd like audition for a new one. And yeah, I met a whole bunch of really amazing people in the industry, and one of them, which is my favorite human in the whole wide world, is Jeff Grimwood. He's a voice actor and improv coach, and just an amazing improv dude in general. He does these Saturday drop-ins on the weekends, and I started taking those. So like we've had amazing guests like him come on. And then I'm kind of backtracking here, but like Orion Akaba from Critical Role from the first season, I got to interview him, and we've been in touch ever since. He was actually um, my biggest inspiration in, as far as like sobering up and all that stuff goes, because when I sobered up, I put it out there, and he saw it on Facebook. I saw he liked it, and I was like, oh shit, Ryan Okaba liked my sober post. And then he's like, hey, congratulations on being sober. And I was like, yeah, man. Hey, well, how about I get an interview with you? Just kind of like throwing it out there. Like, I don't know, he's a celebrity. What's he gonna say? No? Sure, he's gonna say no. And he's like, show me 3 months of sobriety and you got a deal. I was like, bro, you got it. And then a year later, I got to sit down and interview with him. And man, I'm going all over the place. But yeah, I got to I'm gonna kind of sidestep from the D&D thing for 1 second, but because I want to name drop people here. It's
Feel free.
Tim Freelander and Jason Lanier White I became friends with. And actually over the summer I took my son out for our very first like big vacation, and we went out to Cali for a week, and got to hang out with them, and got to see Tim's studio where he recorded the whole cast of Critical Role in one
Badass.
of the video games that they were in. Oh boy, I'm not going to remember that name, but anyway, yeah. So lore, dice nerd shit. Yeah, we've had some really cool guests, and um we just keep growing and growing and growing. A year ago, it was like the community that I built was had like 5 people in it, and now we have like 100 and something, which isn't a lot, but it's still pretty cool because we do like contests and different things. Um, oh yeah, and then recently we it was over the summer we started, um one of the biggest things I wanted to do was it kind of like Critical Role is like have have a part of changing the world for the better. One of the catchphrases that we close with at the end of every session, I just came up with one night. It was be good to each other, be awesome, and beat hate with love. And um I think one night I was just kind of sitting there going like, what does that mean to me? And I was like, well, obviously got to do something good in the world with what I'm doing. And so we started streaming for Extra Life, which is a Children's Miracle Network program for video gamers and streamers. And this just, what was it, last month? We had Grant Howitt, who is the creator of amazing games like Honey Heist, Crash Pandas, Adventure Skeletons, stuff like that. Stuff that like, if you watch Critical Role, like in season 1 and 2, like they played Honey Heist and Crash Pandas. So we had him on our show on this. We did this like 9 hour marathon stream and raised like $250 for Extra Life. And um man, ADHD is kicking my ass, but it was super cool just to have like a big name like him sit and roll with us and just goof around and be as clowny as fuck. Like it was ridiculous. So yeah, we're like, we do the Twitch thing, and then I'll put them up on YouTube and then cut down like highlights and put them up on Instagram and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up there and wait for your next question because I'm everywhere right now.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm actually kind of curious. What were you interviewing them for?
Interviewing.
The people? I can't remember the names
Oh
off the
yeah,
top
yeah,
of my
yeah.
head.
Orion Akaba.
Yeah.
So I got to interview him. It was just an in general, like, hey, kind of like what we're doing here. Like, how'd you get into voice acting? What have you been doing since you started? Uh,
And personal?
yeah, yeah. I didn't want to go too personal because like, um, I know Orion's got like a lot of like there's with everybody there's like me, like everybody's got haters, and when Orion left, like there was a lot of people that didn't understand his story and thought like, oh, he left so he's a bad person. And it's like, dude, take the time to get to know the person. They didn't leave because they're a bad person. They left because they knew that they needed to get help and sober up and change their life for the better. And that was like the biggest thing for me was that watching him go from a place where I was currently in and lift himself out of that hole and get back on track and be this big, huge, successful voice actor. And yeah, so that I didn't touch on any of those like sensitive things that he's probably interviewed with hundreds of people before and explained that story a million times over. So I just was like trying to stay on all the cool, positive Jimmy Jam things.
I imagine he probably appreciated that.
I hope so. I hope so, Orion.
So what about this doesn't necessarily have to do with like voiceover or any career choice or whatever. What are some life goals or dreams that you hope to achieve?
Oh, that's a good question. So life goals. I want to retire in Ireland because I was over there in 2009. A little backstory on my father. He is also a musician, and he was a touring bluegrass and folk musician for years and years and years. I mean, before I was even born. And like he taught me how to play guitar. And so anyway, we cut a deal. Like it was right around my birthday, and um, he said, learn my songs, how to play them and sing them, and then I'll buy your ticket to go fly over there for your birthday. I was like, you have a deal, sir. And we went over there and toured for a month. And whenever I didn't like, when I guess I was kind of like stage shy or whatnot on certain nights, he'd just give me money. He's like, go bring people. So I would just go bar hop and meet people, like amazing people, and then just bring this crowd over to the shows. And um life goals, yes. So I
Hold
retire
up.
in Ireland.
That's amazing that you could do that. It's just go bar hopping and bring a whole bunch of people with you. That's charisma right there.
Yeah, I'm barred for life. BARD, bard. I
Anyway, continue.
yes, I was a well, I was all like in my 20s. I was a karaoke junkie, and I would just go anywhere the mic was because I loved singing. And so yeah, but thank you, by the way. Yeah, life dream, life goal, end game is to retire in Ireland. Short term, I would say like in the next 5-10 years, definitely want to be doing voice acting full time, because recently I've had some developments here at the house where like natural disaster flood stuff happened and set me back financially. So now I gotta go back to work full time to get back on my feet and put the VO stuff kind of on the side, like on the back burner a little bit. Do it as much as I can, but the
Yeah,
goal
it's hard
is,
to balance when you have to work full time. Because I mean, it's
yeah.
not like, in VO, it's not like you can just work full time, at
Hmm.
will.
Yeah, I
So,
know. I tried. I tried. Like when I lost my job in January of this year, I got laid off and this just I don't know, like a wild hair up my butt or whatever. It was just like, do it. Like this is your calling. Do it. You did all this training and you got your demos, you got your website up, do it. And like I just went gung ho and I was booking like one or two a month, but it wasn't cutting it financially. And then I went back to work part time, and I have this disease in my spine called spinal stenosis and degenerative joint disease, so I can't do a whole lot of like light duty or heavy duty lifting or any kind of stuff like that. So I got to stick to my using my brain on the jobs. And so rather than actually doing that, I went with a driving job because I have a lot of experience driving and different things. And um yeah, so now I drive part-time and just looking for work and trying to keep up with the VO as much as I can.
I think eventually, if you keep up with it, even though you are having to work a full time day job, I think you'll get there. You just gotta be consistent.
Yes.
I know a lot of us are sporadic,
Yes, the consistency
me
is the
including,
hardest part. Hmm.
but it takes a lot of work to run a business, and that's what this is we're all creatives, but
Hmm.
entrepreneurs, you know.
Yeah, if there was a hat for every single thing you have to do in voice acting, you would need a full walk-in closet.
Yeah, I think you'd probably have about 15 to 30.
Hmm. Yep. And that's just the marketing hats.
Gosh, yeah. Whew. All right. So you've name dropped a few people. You kind of got a sense of who has been an inspiration for you. Has there been anybody else that you'd like to name that have been solid like role models or inspirations for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll probably reiterate some names, but uh or not reiterate, Jesus, repeat myself. Well, obviously, I gotta give a shout out to my dad because he was an entrepreneur of his own kind. Like he ran his own painting business, kept our family afloat, and where my mom was able to keep uh raising us, just do the uh 80s and 90s stay-at-home mom thing, showing my
Mhm.
age there. And yeah, and then was living the blue the bluegrass dream, yeehaw. But oh man. So uh he is
Grab some
damn it.
water.
Yep, give me 1 second. We'll edit that out in post.
Yep.
Excuse me. So yeah, I got to give him the first spot on that. And Orion Akaba for being my inspiration for sobering up and keeping tabs on me and motivating me throughout the time that I was having a really hard time with it. Like just the first year was rough, but and then following through being just this amazing voice actor dude that's like Chris Ferguson. Yeah, like because he's super popular, I'll sit down and interview with him. And what else? I mean, Matt Mercer, obviously, because he's an amazing voice actor and dungeon master. So, any dice nerd out there trying to do their own thing, definitely either knows his name or aspires to be like him. Um, and then my Cali homies, Jason Lanier White and my super cool, I call him my big brother from another mother, my Cali brother, Tim Friedlander. He has been such a cool, awesome, inspiring dude. He's currently helping me rebrand. He got me in touch with one of his friends that's a professional. Like his IMDb credits are insane. To start training with him and redo a new commercial demo. And then he's going to be helping me do a video game demo eventually, once I can afford that, because shit is expensive. And I'm not just saying him, I'm saying, like, if you want
Everybody.
to if you want a professional demo done by somebody that knows what they're doing, you're gonna pay a lot of money. So yeah, I definitely got to re-drop those names. And my buddy Jeff Grimwood, because he's such a phenomenal improv actor, and his classes are insane. um those are like, whenever I do get to attend them, those are the things that I kind of look forward to, like, as a singer and a voice actor, when you're doing those two things, they're kind of like your creative outlet. Like, all that all that pain and anger and resentment, or whatever it is that's like kind of been holding you down for the week, and then you get in there in that booth and you start singing or voice acting, doing your thing, and it's just like you're immediately removed from all of that, like interior pain that's holding you down, and you feel like you're flying. So yeah, that's
I sing a lot
getting
of Amy Lee when I'm feeling angry or depressed.
there. You go. Excellent choice.
No, I definitely get what you mean. I do it all the time. It's a natural thing, you kind of, it not only allows you to release the emotions, but it allows you to get out of your head. So you stop overthinking, or, stop having the negative cycle of thoughts, right?
Right.
Because if you
Yeah.
get it out, it's out. It's like bottling up some resentment that you might have towards another person.
Yeah. Indeed. That's like, it's the worst place to be, is in your head, when you're in a like, a funk. And me, as well as I'm sure anybody listening can relate, like, social anxiety, chronic anxiety and depression and stuff like that. That's a daily thing that a lot of us fight, and I deal with it myself too. Is like, when you get in those weird funks, finding something that you can go to. It's kind of like, uh um that happy place, your release. And for me, for years and years and years, like, I started playing music when I was like 5. um and that was always my thing. Was when I was in a weird mood or needed to get my mind off of something, I would sit down and play the piano or play the guitar or sing or something. Um and then it slowly became D&D and improv with Jeff, and voice acting in the booth.
And for everybody listening, those aren't the only creative outlets. So like, I had a bunch, still have a bunch. So like, I used to write songs, creative stories, anything to just do something and channel, the emotions that you feel, the thoughts that you have. Singing, playing instruments. I did piano and some guitar.
Hell
Vocal is
yes.
my main thing. And then, like I said, writing, I do crochet. And
That's awesome.
a lot of people do running or hiking or something like that. And it's, a lot of people will tell you, you need to meditate. You need to meditate to get all this stuff out and to really come to terms and accept who you are. And meditation is great, but I find that doing things physically can also be meditative.
Oh yeah.
And I think
Absolutely.
a lot of people are just, not interested in meditation, and they're like, I don't want to sit still for that long. I don't want to like think back on myself. Well, I mean, crochet is meditative for me. Singing is meditative for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not only sitting there chanting
Om Namah. Yeah, the oh god, I wish I could remember the guy's name that I was in a kind of like a group counseling thing years and years and years ago. And one of the things he said was the most important thing to remember about meditation is it's well, at least for him, was that it's allowing your mind to focus on something to distract you from all of the other chaos and whatnot, something that allows you to just focus on one single thing. And yeah, I mean, that exactly what you said, like playing music, jumping on the piano, start tickling the ivories and strumming the strings, and just focusing your mind on one thing. Like when I would sit and write music myself, like that was where I was the happiest, was creating something. And because nothing else mattered at that moment, you just start writing, and then you grab your pen and you start writing your words, and next thing you know, you're on stage singing it in front of people, and you can stop singing and they're singing your lyrics to you, and it's like, hey, that's something I wrote.
Doesn't it feel great?
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. And I mean, for people that like never experienced that too, I'm not like doing it in a sense of like, oh, look at me, I was on stage. I just mean just that whole moment of realization of like, you created something and people are experiencing it, whether it's artwork or crocheting or piano or I mean, literally anything. I know some people like to clean their house. And look how clean the house is now.
Meditation is a state of mind, I think.
Bingo.
So after all of that,
yeah,
it has been great. Let's wrap up with any advice that you have for people who are trying to decide what career path to choose.
That is a good one. Okay, so I thought about this one for a little bit, and I think I'm just gonna go with the simple: follow your gut and your heart. They will never guide you wrong, as long as it's not something negative or toxic or something that's going to harm other people or whatnot. It's literally, I mean, let's just use a perfect example of something simple like IT specialists. Like, if that's your dream and you're good at computers, then chase it, because what is the worst that can happen? You'll go out, you'll try it, you'll maybe take some classes, you'll learn, and if you fail and you decide to give up, at least you tried, you learned something new. And the biggest thing for me about following the voice acting thing specifically was, it's a dream of mine, and life is way too short to sit around and wonder what if I had done that. So I fucking chased it. Go for it. That's my advice. Follow your heart and your gut, because they will always guide you in the right direction.
I love it. And if it's still your dream, even after you fail, then keep going.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, getting up and dusting yourself off is the definition of courage, right? I mean, not being afraid to fail. Woo,
right? You get knocked on your ass, you pop back up and be like, whew, am I good? All right. Let's do this.
That's part of learning.
Awesome. I love it. All right. is there anything else that you wanted to say?
Be good to each other, be awesome, and beat hate with love. No, thank
That's great.
you so much for having me. This is I've never got to sit down and actually do something like this, so you'll make me feel super special.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you could join us. Ever since that we had that one night on the voiceover playground with Caleb Pitts, and I heard your
Oh
voice a couple
yeah.
of times. I was like, dude, this guy's got a great voice. And I went on your website and listened to your stuff, and I was like, what?
Oh, dude, I
Cool.
totally remember that. That was such a fun night. I gotta reach out to her too, because she was one of our players in one of our campaigns, and she's been so busy. Kayla, if you're listening, I love you. Miss you bunches, and yeah,
Come
I got it.
back.
Yeah, please come back, please. Yeah, I got to get back into one of her things, because the problem was like we all had always stream on Thursday nights the exact same hour when she would run her oh damn it, what's it called,
Voiceover playground.
yeah, voiceover playground. I'm sorry, I knew it was VAP, but I was like, I don't want to say something wrong. Yeah, and that was always an issue for me, and the few that I got to join were flipping amazing, so much fun. The tavern one was just, god, so funny. And the cats, oh my gosh.
I think I was there for the cats one.
Yeah,
I
you were
wanted to be
there.
there for the tavern. Like I either forget about it or I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time I forget about it because I'm usually cooking at that point. But anyway, I digress. So that is it for us today. Again, thank you so much for joining. And I'm so glad that you got to share your experience and your journey with people here, because I think like I've loved all of the conversations that I've had with everybody so far, but I think yours is very important for especially creatives, because we can all get stuck in our heads a lot more than most other people, and that
Nah.
can lead to a lot of the situations that you were put in. So I'm really glad that you got to share that with everybody and show them that you can pull yourself out of a deep dark pit of hell and become something beautiful. A little butterfly. A beautiful
I did it,
butterfly.
and you can too.
Look at my wings. A Bug's Life
Mom,
joke.
I can
Gotta
fly.
keep that. All right, I am gonna end it here, and I'll see you guys next time.